What is good, everybody? Quick one here, but I just had to get this video out. So those two third down conversions that Tyler Shough had at the end of that Buccaneers game late in the fourth, to keep the chains moving, keep the clock moving, they were so impressive to me. And it's just, these are the types of things, the type of plays that you look for, right? When you're really evaluating, is a guy going to be the future? Does he have a chance to be your future quarterback? Can you build around him? And to me, these two plays prove that, yes, you absolutely can. His running highlights this game were cool and all, but these two plays, third downs at the end of the game in a freaking rainstorm, are plays that you look at and be like, we can build around that guy, right? And this first one here to Devon Vele, 3rd and 6, again in the rain, right? You stand in there and you take a hit and you still deliver the ball for a first down to Vele over the middle. And it's just so impressive because, number one, it's not his first read, right? He actually wants Juwan Johnson here on this little whip return out, right? And then we're going to have Olave on motion with a clear out. Now, he doesn't like it over here to Juwan Johnson. It takes a little too long. He can feel the pressure closing in on him, right? But what does he do? He stays calm, he goes through his progressions, and he gets to backside Vele here on this little short post, right? And it's a really good route by Vele as well, who, by the way, you can tell that him and Shough just are building that connection more and more every single week. But again, we take the snap, right? We take a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-step drop. We want Juwan, right? But at this point, it doesn't look like it's going to be successful. We're defense is being physical with it, right? It's right at the sticks, it looks like, or close to it. And so he still wants it, but at this point he's like, okay, I need to get off of this. My left guard is getting beat a little bit here, so let me move on, right? And watch him just stay calm, progress to Vele on the backside right there, and let it rip with pressure in his face while he's getting hit, right? And he makes a really nice throw, again, in the rain, right? In a rainstorm. And this this end zone view here just shows the beauty that was truly in this thing. And you can see his head work from left. He's looking left. It's not there, right? Juwan's covered to him, right? The pressure. Okay, we need to get backside. We need to stand in here, deliver a ball while our arm is getting hit. And we do. We make it happen, right? Good stuff to Devon Vele from Tyler Shough there. Beautiful. And again, this is what you want to see. Can a guy elevate your team when the team needs it most? And in my mind, this is what Tyler Shough did really yesterday, the whole game, or not yesterday, but last Sunday, the whole game, but especially on these last two plays here. And again here, another 3rd down and 5, right? Again, same sort of deal, but this one is even more impressive. Number one, because, it's the same sort of thing, right? But the anticipation he shows here is incredible, right? So we get to the top of our drop, we take one hitch, we're winding up to let this go now. Look at that. So the ball being released right now, right? Look where Vele is. Take note of where Vele is. Not even made his break for the sideline yet. And watch where the ball ends up. Okay? Slow-mo this thing. Look where the ball is caught. Right there. Again, ball was released right now. That is insane levels of anticipation. And these are the plays that, when you talk about willing your team to a victory, this is what it looks like. Pressure in your face, and he gets hit. That's the crazy thing about this. He gets hit while he's letting this thing go, right? And, shout out to Olave here on the clear out because, really his whole job here is to take a must outside release and get this DB out of the way. And that's exactly what he does. So again, if we take this thing from the end zone view here, you could see just how insane this throw is, that he was able to make it there. Again, it's raining, right? In a rainstorm here. Versus pressure, which, by the way, hey, I was told that this guy didn't perform under pressure, that he winces and shies away from pressure. Don't look like it to me. So let's see. Hand literally gets hit, still makes it from the opposite hash, by the way. I don't even know if I mentioned this. We're on the far hash here, and the ball still gets there. I mean, come on, guys. When you're evaluating a quarterback, what do you look for, right? You want to see him, does he operate the offense? Are guys in the right spots? Is he making the right reads? Is he, doing his best to protect the football? Is he doing the right things, right? Not every game is going to be perfect. He's going to make mistakes. You know what I mean? Look at the quarterback opposite him this game, Baker Mayfield. Baker was an MVP candidate to begin the year. He's had pretty good years in Tampa, right? Shough outplayed him. So that just goes to show, if good quarterbacks in the league are going to have bad games, so are rookies. But really, Tyler Shough has not had a very bad game. I mean, and for him to perform this well, a division rival and look as good as he has, it's just, how could you not be excited for the future? And, those of that have followed me in the film reviews I've done or follow me on Twitter, I'm a Shough fan. I have been a Shough guy since before the Saints drafted him. I think I don't understand how he even fell to the second round. I get the injury history and the age, but to me, this dude was just awesome, right? And he has proved me right. And so just to see things like this, that he puts on tape, just gets you excited for the future. And now hopefully the Saints can do a proper job of, building around the guy and actually putting pieces around him to succeed, like some more weapons on offense and, address some of the interior offensive line spots this year. Because I do think, here we go again, right? Another off season where the Saints are in need of offensive linemen, despite them spending so much draft capital on the positions, right? I think, obviously your tackle positions are shored up with Kelvin Banks Jr. and Fuaga, but then you go to the interior and it's like, well, they do need a left guard. They probably need a right guard. They do need a right guard. Ruiz has not been very good this year. And then at the center position, you have Eric McCoy, one of the best in the league. But if you look over the past few years, he hasn't really been able to stay healthy. So offensive line is another a key aspect that they have to address to build around Shough. And, you have to look at the running game as well, possibly a running back at some point. Devon Vele, for as well as he's played as a rookie, he's not going to be able to, I don't really see him being the total bell cow and being able to, carry the load by himself. So I at least expect him to go out and get them a partner. AK seems like, he's, more towards the end of the road. Obviously, he's been in the league a ton of years, put up a lot of productive years, but it's just looking that way, right? Let's just call it what it is. And then if we talk about the receiver group, you trade away Rashid Shaheed, which I think, it was an understandable decision, granted, because he's going to want to be paid at the end of this season, right? And you go out and trade him away, you pick up some picks for him. That's good, right? Maybe spend that capital on getting some pieces around Shough. But I think if you look at the receiving room as a whole, Olave, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. What's he going to be want to be paid? And then if you look at Vele, I mean, the way this guy has played really since his snaps has increased is just like, dude, what took so long? What took so long to get this guy out on the field? He's been awesome. He has been awesome. And like I said earlier in the video, you can see that rapport between him and Tyler Shough is really, really building as the games go along, as they play more and more snaps together. So it's just, I was critical at the beginning of the season when they traded for him, right? This older, sophomore wide receiver who, why are we trading away picks when we need to be stockpiling them? And then the season starts and they don't even use the guy. And it's like, oh my God, that was a disaster. But now that he's actually on the field, he's making plays. And it's like, okay, I don't love the process of how we got here, but he does look like he could be a solid contributor for the Saints for years to come. So, again, why was he not on the field earlier? But you guys get the point. Tyler Shough, awesome to see him make these plays in the crunch time, in the clutch, in the rain. It really points things up for the future. Appreciate you guys watching. Peace.